And we're looking forward to joining you on that adventure. Now, one of our viewers, Susanna Knox, has contacted us to say, how do you make choux pastry? Although she says hers is not very good. Everything else that she makes with pastry is very good, so quietly confident. So choux pastry, I thought I'd do a little sort of little masterclass on it, really. So choux pastry is a mixture of water, butter, flour and eggs. But you're into baking, aren't you?
I do love a bit of baking, but actually pastry scares me a little bit as well. So
this is pretty straightforward. So you put the water in the pan. Now, the key to this is get the water hot and add the butter straight away. So you don't really want this to boil until the butter's melted.
OK, so not bubbling.
No, because it unbalances the recipe. The water reduces down. So a pinch of salt. You can add a pinch of sugar in there if you wanted to. And then it's this mixture here. Plain flour in next. Because what you're creating is like a little roux, but not as thick as sort of a conventional white sauce. So the butter's melted, like that.
Right.
In there.
OK.
Keep it on the heat, keep the heat high as possible, and then we throw in the flour. And then you need to keep it on the heat. And what will happen, it'll come really, really thick. And you know it's ready when it actually starts to come away from the side of the pan. You can see that now it's starting to get thicker.
Okay.
Gets thicker.
Yep.
Thicker. Well, it actually starts, if you literally just keep going, you can actually hear it start popping as the little gluten in the flour starts to pop, and it's a thing that you learn at college, really, and it's until then when it's ready. So you do need to cook it out for a little bit on the stove. You see it starting to come together now?
It's like totally solid now.
And it just comes away from the side of the pan.
It looks a bit like kind of biscuit texture. You know,
that kind of thing. Yeah, I suppose so, shortbread sort of thing before you roll it out. That kind of stuff. But the idea is you just cook it on the stove for about sort of a minute or so, and then what we do is we just pop it to cool down. Right, you can cover it over, just allow it to cool. We've got one in here, which is cool, because this bit is the next bit where we add the eggs. So add 4 eggs, one at a time, in the mixture. Let the mixture cool right down, and then throw in the eggs one by one. Don't throw them in all together, otherwise the mixture splits. So you put one in at a time, allow it to mix up, then another one, and get that one thoroughly mixed, and then another one.
You always have to do that, really, with baking, don't you? Add them separately.
It's choux pastry, yeah, but this is, the same recipe you could do with sweet or savoury. So if you wanted to put cheese in there, you could put cheese in there now.
Ah, OK.
Sweet and savoury. You can actually, as well, once this mixture as it is, you can deep fry this, and you've got little beignets. You could put crab and bits and pieces, all manner of different things in there. But we just mix it all together, and the whole mix starts to thicken up slightly. I'll just lift that out and just give it a little scrape around the edge, and we just keep mixing it. It doesn't want very long. And then we've got a piping bag, just with a hole in.
Right.
Get yourself a non-stick tray, because I'm going to make eclairs, but you can make profiteroles the same thing. Elephant's feet, do you remember those as the Northern Lass?
Oh.
You know those big elephant's feet that you get in?
Yeah, they were a bit weird, weren't they?
Yeah, there's massive great shoe buns, which was just $1.
Yeah, but they were a bit bizarre.
Or was that just me? I just do it for the elephants.
My mum used to make profiteroles, though, when I was younger. I remember that, and they were good. They were good. She obviously had the technique.
There you go. And what we do is we grab this off of here, and then just fill up the piping bag, and I'll show you how to pipe it. Now, it's been busy for you, literally, after Girls Aloud, of course.
It has.
You never stop, you girls.
No, I know. We had a busy 10 years, actually. Yeah. We really did, and especially just before the band obviously finished. I was doing Strictly Come Dancing as well. It was all a bit crazy, but great. But
it's a calmer year this year.
It is. It's chilled out a little bit now.
But you're getting on your bike next month.
I'm getting on my bike, yeah.
Well, tell us about that, then, because this is based up north, isn't it, really?
It is. I'm an ambassador for the Sky Rides that are happening all over the country, all over summer. Yeah. I'm actually going to kick off the one in Leeds, because I'm from Bradford, so I'm going back up north, back up to Yorkshire. I'm actually going to ride a bike, which is going to be quite interesting. I haven't done it for a little while. I have ridden a lot in the past, but I haven't done it for a while, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, they're happening actually all up and down the country, and there's loads in Yorkshire.
So this is where anybody can take part, then, isn't it?
Yeah, anyone can turn up and go down with your family. You don't have to do the entire ride. It's not a race. You can kind of, you know, come with your kids for a mile or so, and then,
It's one of the great things about Leeds, I suppose. That's where they're starting the Tour de France next year,
The Tour de France,
really?
exactly. So I think it'll be quite an exciting way to kind of start the countdown, actually, for the Tour de France, because it's only a year, like you say. So, yeah. But there's one in York, if you fancy it.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Bradford.
This is the 7th of July, is it?
Yeah, 7th of July.
It's not a motorbike, James, you know that?
Yeah, well, no, I've got a bike at home.
Yep, it's a real push bike.
Right.
No, it's going to be fun.
There's your little choux pastry.
Nice.
And what we do with these, just to finish these off, is you take some water. Because what you don't want is a little pointed bit.
Right.
See, you just take a little bit of water on your finger, like that.
Attention
and then a little
to
tip
detail.
that I learnt in France where I was working, just a little bit of water on here, because it's the water and the steam that's evaporated as it heats up that causes the choux pastry to rise. And keep some of this water, because then what we can do, in here I've got a tray, just to stop the water, and we pour cold water onto the tray, and you've got yourself some steam. And then we pop this in the oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, that's about 200 degrees centigrade, gas about 7, something like that. Takes about 15, 20 minutes. Let them dry out. And I've got my eclairs here, which I'm going to finish them all off.
They look good.
But as well as next month on the Sky Ride, you've been busy. Autobiographies on the pipeline.
It is. It's almost finished, actually.
Almost finished. What's that like, writing one?
It's quite scary because you kind of think, I've never really spoken about a lot of the things in there, and then you're kind of putting it all out there together. But it has been fun, actually. It's been nice.
Do you have to contact the girls and say,
yeah, I'm going to give them a little bit of a heads up.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Cheryl did a little chat with me the other day because I was trying to remember everything. You know, like 10 years is a long time, and we remembered some quite funny stories that have gone in there.
Because it was shoots you, but for sort of quickly as well. That's what happens with these bands nowadays, you know.
Yeah, we had the #1 right at the beginning for 4 weeks or something, and then, kind of crashed back to reality, and it felt like we had to kind of, you know, build our career over the 10 years. It didn't feel like we were just kind of there and that was it. We worked really hard, actually, and we feel
but the great thing is
what we achieved.
Well, you've all gone on to do solo stuff as well, because you've had your album and stuff like that.
Yeah, musical theatre. I was in Shrek in the West End.
You were in Shrek, yeah. What was that
really
like for you, really?
Fun. It was so good. I didn't particularly love the green makeup, but apart from that, I loved it. Loved the experience of working with other people, like in a big family, and it was a good challenge.
Because it's where it all started for you, wasn't it, really? You loved theatre from a young kid.
From really young, I mean, I started theatre and TV when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I've been kind of doing it ever since. But musical theatre was where all my training was, and
so
it
what was that
feel
like,
a bit like going
call?
back to my roots.
What was that like, getting a phone call for the West End as well?
I was terrified. I was like, OK, so after 10 years of not doing any musical theatre, I'm going to go straight into the West End to a leading lady role at Drury Lane. I was like, OK, I really need to put the graft in, make sure that I can pull this off. And, it was a brilliant achievement.
Right, I'm just going to show you to finish these off. Rather than fill them on the bottom, what you do is put little holes in the top, one at each end. This is just pure
that's clever.
Whipped cream in here, nothing else. That's that one. And then we'll fill up this one. So basically, the reason why you do this, if you put them underneath, and when you take a bite out of it, it basically is going to come out the bottom. So, maybe not that one. I'll ignore that one.
Dodgy piping bag.
And then what we'll do is we'll just take this.
Right.
This is a coffee icing, and we dip it where you filled the choux buns. We dip it in the coffee icing, which covers up the holes.
I do remember eating those in Yorkshire as a child.
These ones, you see?
Yeah, the coffee ones.
But these are cream-filled. Traditionally, in France, you may fill them with what they call crème pâtissière or crème légère, which is a mixture.
Like the custardy kind of one.
Well, that's custard and whipped cream, so it's a combination of the two, really. But for this show, it's got to be whipped cream. And we just put... You can get a little spoon. Let me get a spoon.
I'm surprised you didn't pipe it for the butter, James.
What's that?
I'm surprised you didn't pipe it for the butter.
No, I've done one for you, which is just covered in butter.
Cream's not much better, really, is
well, you know, but you can just put this over the top. Now, you can mix and match, obviously, the toppings. It's just ice and sugar, stuff like that, and it will actually set. So remember to ice them, to fill them on the top. And you spread this over the top like that. And there you have your...
Lovely.
I don't know where you start with this to eat this, to be honest, but I'll give you a spoon and a fork. There you go. You can dive
maybe I will eat it.
Dive into
Lovely.
that. I'll give you that one. There you go.
Yeah, this looks good.
But there.
I mean, usually you would just do this, but I'm a little bit scared on TV to go in for the full. I'm going to do plate safe.
You'll need a 5 kilometre bike ride after that, I tell you that.
Yes.
But look at that, full of whipped cream.
That's good.
Please tell me it beats chicken with a little bit of Jersey roll potatoes.
Oh, come on.
I do have a sweet tooth, I'm not going to
Yes,
lie.
there you go. If there's a skill, dish or technique you'd like to demonstrate, then you can drop us a line. We'll try to cover them over the coming shows. So all the contact details, of course, are on our website. That's bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. Right, what we'll be cooking for Kimberley at the end of the show? It could be food heaven. Those waffles, of course. I'm going to add some bacon pieces to my waffle batter and serve them with a big pile of more cooked streaky bacon alongside some maple syrup, a poached egg and some hollandaise sauce. That'll sort out any hangovers this morning. Or Kimberley could be facing food hell, of course, pear, which I'm going to make my twist on the classic upside-down dessert, a classic tarte tatin. Conventionally with apples, but this time with pears. They're peeled, cored and poached in stock syrup, and then added to a rosemary-infused caramel, topped off with puff pastry, and the tart is baked and served with a vanilla ice cream. Some of our viewers and the chefs in the studio get to decide Kimberley's fate today, but you have to wait to the end of the show to see the final result. And will Kimberley be facing food heaven, those waffles with eggs, bacon and hollandaise sauce, or dreaded food hell, pears and that rosemary and pear tarte tatin? You have to wait to the end of the show, of course, to see the final result. Right, let's get cooking. And our next dish is the next man is leading the way from Skegness, and he serves some of the best tapas in the country. It's the brilliant Ben Tish. Welcome back, Ben.
Thank you very much, James.
On the menu for you, we've got a little bit of tapas for you. So...
It's tapas, as always. So we've got some baby squids here, kind of very Spanish. We're going to stuff it with some chorizo. This is cooking chorizo, so different from the slicing chorizo. It's a bit soft, it needs to be cooked. We've got some fresh peas, we've got some sage, new potatoes, if you wouldn't mind cutting some for me and cooking them. And then capers, and then we're going to make a little aioli, if you could get on afterwards. So basically, a garlicky mayonnaise in effect. So the first thing I need to do is peel the chorizo. Just take the, there'll be a skin on it.
So this is the softer one that people want to look for.
This is the softer one, like if you go to buy it.
Give it a squeeze.
So if it's squidgy enough to mould.
Yeah.
Because some of them are like really hard.
Sausage.
Yeah.
It'll say on it as well that it's kind of it'll say semi-cured as opposed to cured, and that's when you know it's kind of like this.
But also there's the word picante on a lot of them, which is the spicy one.
Picante and dulce, which is the sweeter one. So this is spicy, which it's great for this dish.
Okay.
So anyway, just broken the chorizo down. Break it down as much as you can. This is going to go into the squid cavity. And baby squids are great because you've got a perfect kind of, perfect parcel basically to put anything inside. You know, you could put black pudding in there, or you could even use some other squid and make a stuffing with kind of chopped up squid, breadcrumbs and parsley and stuff that in there as well.
Now, I feel like I've had an overload of tapas this week because I was in Barcelona at that amazing market this week.
Oh, the Boqueria, fantastic.
Well, what a place that is. I mean, you've been there as well, haven't you?
It's just incredible. I've never seen so much stunning produce under
it's sensational. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's and the restaurant, like the tapas bars that are in there as well.
Amazing.
You queue to get a seat at these tapas bars, and you don't know what you're eating. You just pick anything randomly off the menu.
It's always full of hungover chefs as well. They've all gone over to Barcelona the night before.
Yeah, exactly that. But you've got a nice glass of sherry at 8 o'clock in the morning.
You're cooking squid.
It's definitely what's needed.
You're cooking squid, but octopus is hugely popular there.
Octopus is really popular, and I think it's getting quite popular over here. I mean, we sell a lot of it at our restaurants. It's really popular. Get it frozen, frozen, defrosted, and you kind of guaranteed a tender. A tender bite, basically.
The frozen octopus tenderises it.
Yeah, natural tenderising. Because people often think octopus is chewy.
I thought that would do the opposite, freezing it.
No, it sorts it out. So anyway, so I've got the chorizo stuffed inside. Don't overstuff the squid, because the squid shrinks and the chorizo will kind of pop out. So a little cocktail stick in the end of the squid, just to hold it together when we roast it. So you've got potatoes cooking for me, James.
They're cooking, you want some?
And a little aioli, so eggs, kind of some vinegar in there, and then rapeseed oil.
And then garlic
make
as
it
well,
nice and yellow.
Okay.
So just gonna get these squids on.
Now you're pan frying these, but the new restaurant of yours, you're going to cook everything on a charcoal grill.
Yeah, that's right. So new restaurant opening pretty soon, November, not pretty soon, but November. But yeah, we're just kind of in the planning stages of it. But yeah, it's going to be everything over kind of wood and charcoal, and lots of kind of smoking of things beforehand. So kind of really natural kind of I suppose older techniques of cooking, if you like. Lots of fire and smoke, and
What's the great thing with tapas, and particularly the menu? I mean, I was watching them with a menu that they were developing. It was almost anything. They would run out of something, cross it off on the board, and put something else on.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, make it up. Really.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all quick. It's really quick stuff to.
It can be as simple as just. I mean, I had char grilled mussels, which was just basically just Mussels in the shell on the charcoal.
Exactly, exactly that, exactly. Yeah. And then, you know, you're adding other dishes to it as well to make up the whole meal. Yeah. So anyway, just these squids, nice hot pan.